Hi everyone, I'm hopeful that all you'll be fine. In today's session, we will learn how we can actually get the recordings analytics using the Zoom REST API. Okay, that how we can actually get the data regarding how many views on our recording and how many downloads over there. Okay, so for that, we first need to create a const variable for that relative path inside the Zoom constants. So I must be sectionize that by comment called recording API, and then we need to create a helper called recording analytics. Okay, and we need to use the helper. Inside that we need to pass the meeting ID. Okay, and we use a string interpolation. Here we need to pass API base URI. Then we say meetings and meeting ID. I think we need to encode that, double encode, because inside the meeting ID, either we pass meeting ID in an integer long number, either we also pass meeting UUID. So that's why we have needed to double encode that. Okay. So then we say here recordings and analytics summary. Okay. So that will be our endpoint. Okay, and at the bottom we need to export that. Here we say recording API, and we pass our export recording analytics. Need to format a bit, and then we need to create a helper. We name it Zoom recording helper.js. Inside that we first need to import Axios. Say require Axios. Okay, and here we need to build the helper, but before that we also need to import the relative path helper. So we say require zoom constant. From zoom constant we need to import recording analytics, and then we need to build the helper called recording analytics summary async, and we need to pass the filter. Okay, inside the filter, we need to pass meeting ID, and meeting ID will be a required parameter. Okay. And inside the meeting ID, either you can pass long integer number, and also you can pass the meeting UUID. Okay. And inside the filter, you can also pass from and to. Okay. So both will be dates in the form of IYY, and DD format. And the max range will be 1 month. Okay, and by default these are two optional parameters. If you are not going to pass these, then by default from will be a current date time. Okay, current date. Now build a from default date, and then we need to build. Before that we first need to set the last month. So set month from dot get month. Okay, -1. Here we need to build the URI. So we say recordings analytics summary URI. We need to call the helper. So we say here recording analytics. We need to pass meeting ID. Okay, and then we need to bind the parameters, query parameters from. First we need to check filter. If filter have a from, then okay. If not, then we set from dot to iso string, then split by t and get the zero index. Okay, and 2 will be if filter have a 2, then okay. If not, then we set new date dot to iso string. Okay, and split from t get the zero index. Okay, semicolon, and here we need to bind the axios. We say data await, and axios need to set the URL will be recording analytics summary URI. Method will be get. Okay, and need to set the headers. We set authorization and bearer. Set bearer token from the process.env. So we say here process.env, need to navigate to env and copy this token, paste it here. Okay, and bind then response, return response, bind age, error, need to return error. Okay, and return data. Okay, inside this API, you must be also few key points keep in your mind. One is you must be have a recording read or recording read admin scope to request this endpoint. Okay, first you have needed this scope, and then another key point is this API have a medium rate limit. That means you can call 20 requests per second for pro plan and 60 requests per second if you have business plus. Okay, now let's export this. So we say module.export. From here we need to export the helper called recording analytics summary. Need to format the code, navigate to the api.js file. First need to import that helper. So here we say cost and require, need to import the Zoom recording helper. From that we need to import analytics summary, and here we need to build an endpoint. We say app.get and we say API Zoom. Need to pass the meeting ID, and I think if we say recordings and then we need to pass meeting ID as a parameter, and we say analytics summary. Okay, and here we need to bind the handler. So we say request to response, and we need to call the helper late analytics summary. Wait, recording analytics summary. Need to pass request dot query. Before that, we also bind meeting ID request dot query dot meeting ID from request dot parents dot meeting ID, and we need to return response dot JSON analytics summary. Okay, need to format the code. I think we first need to verify one thing, which is meeting ID here. Okay, so it is a meeting ID. Okay, we have already breakpoints. So breakpoint on an error and response. Now let's start the API. PM start. Oh, we have a something going wrong. So it is saying there is no any recording API. So I think that error is here. We need to remove that. So it is mentioning inside the package.json. So here's api.js npm start. Now navigate to the browser localhost 44000 /api /zoom and recordings. We have already recording ID, and I think we need to verify the recording ID from the Zoom account. So we say zoom.us/meeting. So from the previous meeting, it is 769. Need to copy meeting ID. Okay, paste that here, and I think recordings, meeting ID, analytics summary. Hit enter, and we have got the response. It is okay. Set the data by default date is current date, and you can see we have no any. So in this account I do not have too many recordings, so but you have seen that we have successfully got the response. If you have recordings on your account, then you will successfully get the response. Inside that you will have a data recording the download count and views count. Okay, so if you are facing any problem while you are using this endpoint, then just please share your queries via the video comment section. Okay, and you can also share your queries and suggestions via my share contact details. Hopefully we will come back with another session. Take care. Bye bye.